The cringe world of looksmaxing. You guys, let's get into the video.
Nothing more cringe and insane than the Looksmaxing community. What you're about to watch is an edit of a guy who was born with a cleft lip, essentially just opening up about life and being vulnerable.
Now, before we get into this video, when it comes to the whole looksmaxing thing, I will say I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that you should work on your looks. Why not try and look, the best? Like, why not just try and look your best? If you can afford to look your best, try your best to look your best. I find that I used to be very overweight. People treat you better. The world treats you better when you do this whole looks maxing thing. Of course, people may say it's superficial, but we live in a superficial world. But let's get into the video.
With his audience, and a Looksmaxer decided to take a clip out of that video and make an edit out of him in an attempt to call him ugly with this collage of men that he finds attractive.
I have to remind myself this is part of my life. That's just not how my luck is.
Now, I honestly apologize that your guys' eyes had to see that. I'm not talking about the guy. I'm talking about this edit. I mean, it's one of the most cringe things I've ever seen. What's so wild to me is that the caption of this video says brutal mid-face, insulting the guy. Yeah, I promise you, if you look closely through this edit, you couldn't find one picture of the guy who made this edit. And that's because the guy is probably insecure himself. Funny enough, this guy's whole page is dedicated to him making edits of other men.
Yeah, this is very cringe, bro. This is very cringe. Also, have in mind that like attractiveness does vary. Like you can take like, this guy right here to, my country, Nigeria, and they'll be like, oh, he looks weird. Like Western beauty standards for men too.
He finds attractive, yet in all of those edits, that man is nowhere to be found. I find it so crazy that his name is Keep Coping Boyo. It says most brutal black pill edits, don't get mad at me. Yet he's taking a bunch of other men and putting them into edits to call other people ugly. That is the most cringe thing I have ever seen. Like, I'm sorry, but the Looksmaxing community is one of the most insecure and sad communities I've ever seen in my life. And we're gonna go more into that. But let me address the elephant in the room real quick. Number one, I know y'all see this entirely new setup, and that is because I have moved. Unfortunately, there will be no more Kobe in the background, and no online very often nowadays, and like I will say, the root of looksmaxing makes sense. I mean, the whole idea of looksmaxing I feel like is a pretty good idea. Maximizing your looks, I think that's a great idea. Let me say, there is nothing wrong with trying to better yourself, whether that's grooming yourself properly, going to the gym, having a skincare routine, eating the right foods, all that good stuff. I myself do all these things, but what I want to focus on more in this video is the extreme looksmaxers, and these are the people who are so deep into looksmaxing that there is no return. The people who think that all that matters in life is looks, and that's pretty much it. And while
I will say looks play a huge role in a lot of things when it comes to society. Looks play a role in who you're going to date. I find that girls tend to look a lot of negative traits when they find a guy very attractive. When you have the face, the height, and maybe not even the money. Sometimes the way you look can trump money. I also find that like when it comes to getting jobs, you have to look the part. A more attractive female, is going to get a job over a female that's not as attractive. And that's just how life is.
agree, your looks can open more doors than if you didn't have the looks. Let's be real here. The difference between flirting and harassment nowadays can sometimes boil down to how you look. I mean, imagine if you're a guy who looks a lot like Kelly Oubre and you walk up to a girl, start complimenting her, start flirting with her, then ask for her number. She'd probably be very flattered. Then imagine if you were a busted, chopped, hideous, unpleasant creature doing that exact same thing. You probably get called a creep, unfortunately. So it makes sense on why we as people care so much about our looks. But at the same time, I do think it's pretty insane to stare into a mirror every day and hyper-analyze every single pore on your skin. And also doing all these weird methods to change your facial structure, like thumb pulling. Now, if you're unfamiliar with
Thumb pulling. You guys, I think I'm getting old. I don't know some of these things, bro.
thumb pulling is, I have a tutorial actually right here for you that looks like it was made by what looks like a...
If you're going to get anything done, you need a vehicle you can rely on. Our trucks hold their ground, just like the people who keep the
16-year-old.
A lot of you have been asking for a thumb pulling tutorial. Here is a full guide on thumb pulling to achieve more forward growth like I did. I want you to put your body against a wall. Roll your shoulders back and put your chin to your neck. Next, I want you to put your thumbs on your palate. Push up and out with your thumbs and resist with tucking your chin. You should...
What is this, bro? What is this? Mind you, all of this, you know, and we live in a world where, you know, as much as women want to say men hate women, bro, a lot of men do this for women. And I'm not going to say, like, of course there are some men that hate women. I'm not going to lie. There are some men that, you know, that don't want the best for women. But the wide majority of men, you know, this is what guys are doing to impress women. You know, like, what is this?
Position for 30 seconds and repeat 5 times or more each day.
Did this man have to have the deep voice filter on this? Could he not just have narrated this video himself? Maybe I'm just nitpicking. But I'm gonna be completely honest. When you look at the before and after of this guy thumb pulling, it looks like nothing changed. Actually, no, the lighting was the one change, that's all. But other than that, he looks the exact same. And I find it so insane that the guy who created this video is so young, yet he cares so much about having this insanely sharp jawline. He's so dedicated to this that he's quite literally shoving his thumbs into his mouth and pushing his back against the wall and tricking his brain into thinking that there's some sort of change when really there isn't. The only change there was the lighting and the angle. That's pretty much it. Like, it's very sad. And here's another video of somebody who thumb pulls and they track their 30-day results. And the crazy part is that from day 1 to day 30, there's no change at all except for the lighting and angle.
Yeah.
These guys are doing nothing and they're tricking themselves into believing that they did something. He quite literally just put on a shirt and looked away from the camera rather than looking into the camera. Like, what is this guy even on about? I see no difference at all. And if you thought that looksmaxing method was insane, just wait until you hear about this next method, bone smashing, where you hit your facial bones with hard objects like a phone or a hammer in the hopes of changing the shape to have this more
bone smashing. Bone smashing. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? All of this is just because men want to sleep with women, bro. Anytime I catch myself caring a lot about like how I look and things like that, I'm like, bruh, it's because I, you know, like every other guy out there, I want to have sex. But on the other hand, I'm like, bro, there's more to life than having sex with women. There's so much more to life. Like, I always have to remind myself that as much as, you know, that's what I want to do, I remind myself that, bro, you know, like, there's more to life. Way more to life.
Look, and y'all may think I'm joking, but I am being dead serious. There are people out there hitting themselves in the face with hammers in an attempt to become more attractive. Like, this has to be considered some sort of mental illness. During the research of this video, I actually found a guy on TikTok who apparently has been bone smashing for 29 days straight. And he has all these bruises on his face. And to top it all off, the man is using a rusty hammer. Like, you couldn't find a clean hammer anywhere. Like, you just had to hit yourself with the rusty, dusty, dirty hammer that you found in the garage. That is disgusting. And the fact that the hammer is touching this man's face is even more disgusting. I know it carries hella germs. And it's sad because this dude looks really young as well. He looks like he's in high school. And I feel like it opens up this conversation on if this extreme looksmaxing is really about bettering yourself. I'm sorry, but you're not bettering yourself if you're hitting yourself in the face with a hammer to the point where you're leaving bruises on your face. That's more on the lines of self-hate than self-love. This guy is quite literally harming himself. This is self-harm. But YouTube, this is AI because I don't want to get this video taken down or demonetized. or any of that. I think someone who loves themselves would accept how they look and own it rather than hitting themselves in the face with a hammer repeatedly to change their facial structure to get this Minecraft Steve look. I quite literally saw another guy while doing the research.
My days, you guys, I've said this in previous videos, but I might say this every video just so that like it sticks in, you know, everyone's heads. And if the person is a new viewer, then like they can understand where I'm coming from. I'm 5'9". I'm not tall, you know, but sometimes people tell me that I give off, you know, tall energy. And that's because I'm confident in myself and I've accepted that, you know, yo, there's nothing that I can do about my height. You know, sometimes there's nothing that you can do about the shape of your head. You know, there's nothing that you can do about like how your eyes are shaped. Or, yo, like then I just accept your flaws. Like accept how God made you. You don't have to go through, like you don't have to do all this bullshit to change yourself. You literally don't have to. The things that you can change, like the things that are in your control, change. Like cool. But if there's nothing you can do about some certain things, bro, keep it pushing. And live your life. Be happy. Breathe. Smile.
This video trying to become more pale, and this man called it the vampire method. What's crazy is by the end of this whole vampire method, this man looks sick. And I don't mean he looks sick in like the, oh, you look sick in a cool way. No, he genuinely looks sick. Then you got all these people in the comment section saying, teach me, teach me, teach me. It is so cringe. Yet at the same time, I find it so sad. Like, why don't you teach yourself how to get a job instead of spamming in the comment section of this guy's videos asking how you can get more pale? These looksmaxers quite literally hate themselves so much to the point that they can't even fathom being comfortable in their own skin. They want to change the color of their skin like it's a Call of Duty camo. And the crazy part is, that's not even the end of these looksmaxing methods, because these methods just keep getting goofier and goofier. There is a method out there called the towel method where dudes bite towels in order to get more prominent jawbones.
Yeah, no, anytime I see things like this, it makes me like it makes me want to not seek, you know, validation from anyone. I'm telling you that like once your personality starts revolving around women and you just want to seek validation from women, just know that as a man, your life is done. Your life is done. Because at the end of the day, you know, you might do all of this. You might get the jawline. You might get, you know, I think it's mostly jawline thing, you know. Like, you might do every single thing that you think is going to attract, you know, a certain kind of woman. And at the end of the day, you might not attract that woman, bro. You might not. You might not. Like all of this might not even be her type. It's crazy.
Actually a video of a guy doing a few of these methods. So he starts off with the towel method. As you can see, this guy kind of looks like XXXTentacion, and he's also hitting the light-skinned dog face. I don't know why, but, you know, we'll just keep on going. As you can see, he's biting the towel. I don't know why he just winked at us, but, hey, man, say, man. And then this is apparently called the ice method, where he takes the ice and ices his jawline, and then he does this weird thing with his mouth. I don't know what that was, but okay. As you can see, he just keeps on rubbing his jawline, getting a little bit of the lips, and then he starts rubbing his eye, and this is to get siren eyes, and you can see this man has the enhancements of doom. Then he does this inner eye pulling, and then I guess this is the end of it. This is the end result. And then he just does this weird, I don't know why he's making this face right there. This man looks like Flapjack trying to bust out a laugh. I find these methods so stupid because I feel like half this stuff nobody truly cares about. Like, this man is rubbing his inner eyes and icing the corner of his eye. Do we really need to do that? Is this really necessary? And is it really going to make that much of a change? Like, let's just be completely real here. Exactly. Here's another Looksmaxer. I guess this guy has been Looksmaxing for 54 days straight.
Okay, Looksmaxing day 54. So finally I bought derma roller to use on my cooked hairline. Took it और मैंने थोड़ा सा pressure apply करके अपने right as well as left hairline में इसको use किया. Then I used zygo pushing to get opposite cheekbones.
What the hell is zygo pushing? You're pushing your face
Zygo
in.
pushing.
This isn't gonna do anything. Like, maybe I'm just hating. Maybe I'm just the biggest hater on this planet, which, hey, if I am, so be it. But I feel like this is just so pointless. Nobody cares about your zygos or whatever. Half the population doesn't even know what zygos are. Like, maybe I'm just a hater.
Then moved on to orbicularis oculi जिससे कि हमारा upper eyelid exposure कम हो सके.
And also your orbicularis oculi. Do people even really care about this? Or are you just doing this because you're just hyper analyzing it and you think everyone cares, when in reality, no one truly cares?
Then moved on to MPR for jaw gains and finalized our routine with thumb pulling. And also you can see my jaw gains and comment whether the thumb pulling and all the exercises are working or not. Peace.
I feel like he's just doing this stuff just to do it. And this is so insane. The top comment says, "You're Indian, bro. It was over before it began." That is
Oh my gosh.
insane. That is actually insane. And here's an
You guys, society is actually very, very interesting, bro. Like, when you think about it, yeah. Oh my days. Like, if you're actually from, like, a certain race, you know, like, you're cooked. Like, you're actually cooked. If you're, like... This is not to sound racist. I'm not racist, you know me. I fuck with everybody from every single race. But it's just so crazy to me how, like, when you're from a certain race, people are going to look down on you more than another race. I mean, like your race affects your dating. Like, bro, moving to Canada made me realize that like race is actually like a thing. As much as people want to say, yeah, I don't see race, blah blah, people do. People do. Like, at first I actually used to be very, very insecure about like being black. You know, once upon a time I was like, damn, like I'm black, you know. And my friend group was white. All of them were white. I was the only black person. And I would hang out with them and have a good time. But at the back of my mind, it would always hit me that, oh, I am actually different, you know. But then now, I just realized that, like, I'm black. I love myself. I'm cool. I make YouTube videos. I'm chill. Like, yeah.
one of these stupid methods from these Looksmaxers. This is apparently called eye area maxing, where you make your eyes wider. And this is the before, as you can see. I guess he just has normal eyes. And then this is his method. And as you can see, it looks like nothing really changed. All you did was put on mascara and open up your eyes, little bro. You literally did nothing. Is that really eye area maxing, or are you just opening your eyes even more? And what makes this Looksmaxing community even more sad is that these guys have legit online forums where they quite literally just rate each other's looks all day long. There's a whole website for this Looksmaxing stuff called looksmax.org, and it's a whole forum of these guys just rating each other, giving out tips, doing all this BS. And there's also Reddit groups for these Looksmaxers to rate each other's looks and give each other tips. Here's actually one that I just found the funniest. This one is called r/mogwarts. And as you can see, the first picture, it's this guy saying, "Need tips for improvement. I've been having a hard time with my face. I think it's the fact that my maxilla is underdeveloped, yet mewing doesn't help. Besides the fact my face is filled with acne, and the fact I'm fat, I seem to also have small eyes that don't match with the rest of my face." I feel like this guy is just hyper analyzing, bro. For you to care so much about just your eyes being small, that's something that you can't really change, you know? So why even bother caring about it? My suggestion, don't worry too much about your maxilla. Don't worry about mewing, etc. You have pretty good features. Just keep focusing on skincare and fat loss. Those two things alone will ascend you. When you've done both of those things, try maintaining your eyebrows as well as trying out new hairstyles/haircuts. Also, always stay clean shaven unless you have thick facial hair. The final step is learning how to take flattering photos. Lighting plus angles changes everything.
And let me tell you guys, you know, this is how to lose body fats and all of that. I'm not the leanest guy, but then I've lost some weight. Eat whole foods, you know. So this is potatoes. This is fruits. This is meats. This is, um what's it called? Sweet potatoes. The things that you know you should be eating, eat that. Go on walks, walk every single day, drink lots of water, and get tons of sleep. I'm telling you, if you do that for 6 months, you will look like an entirely different person.
You said it all. This stuff is just sad to me, man. Rating, completely honest. Why do you want a bunch of other men to rate you? I mean, unless you swing that way, it's Pride Month and everything. But I assume you don't. So, why do you want all these other men to rate you in a Reddit group? What can I do to improve further and rate me 1 out of 10? Is this a picture of him as a child? Why do you have a picture of you as a child and then you have a picture of you grown up? Are you trying to show that you had a glow up? That is not a glow up. That's a freaking grow up. What are we doing? It's so backwards to me because you're having men rate how you look, and that's your litmus test on whether or not you're attractive to women. Instead of actually going up and maybe talking to a woman, or maybe even just touching grass, or maybe getting a low job or something like that. I know I just used a slur. I didn't mean to use the J slur. But maybe get a job, you wouldn't be so focused on this stuff.
Now, see, look at this guy, bro. Look at this guy. This guy is not an ugly guy. This guy is not an ugly guy. Let's look at his face. Losing body fat. Losing body fat is not, it's not hard. Well, if you're used to eating junk food and stuff, yes, it's going to be hard. But change your diet. I'm telling you that a lot of people don't know how attractive they really are. When you start eating fruits, you start going on walks, you change your diet, you start eating healthier, and you start to see what you actually look like underneath all the fat and all of that, bruh. All this guy just needs to do is change his diet, maybe get a different hairstyle, and when you change your diet, your skin is going to look better. Your skin is going to look it's going to look better for sure. Change the diet, bro. Lift weights. Change your hairstyle. You're going to look okay.
I feel like I just have to bring this up, but with the research of this video, I've also learned a new term, sub 5. So if you're unfamiliar with what a sub 5 is, according to Urban Dictionary, it's a person who is below a 5 out of 10 on the black pill / looksmaxing look scale. People in this range are seen as conventionally unattractive and often feel as if they're invisible to the opposite sex. Now, apparently this is a term that's used a lot within the whole looksmaxing community, and I just find it super cringe. If we're referring to human beings as sub 5s and just all this, that just sounds so dumb. I'm sorry. But what's even more insane to me than this odd term is the looksmaxing edits. Now, y'all saw the edit earlier. That was cringe. But what if I told you that there are even more cringe looksmaxing edits out there? Like this one right here.
All right, guys, whoever catches these flowers gets to be my girlfriend. 3, 2, 1.
Now we really got to break this down to a science. We really have to analyze this. Okay, so the start where he says whoever catches these flowers will be my girlfriend, it's obviously a skit. That's the Chica dance guy who was dancing every day until he got a girlfriend on TikTok, and he became a huge meme. And from what I can tell, these looksmaxers have no humor in them, because I guess once you looksmax so much, your humor just completely leaves you and you can't detect what's a skit and what's not a skit. And yeah, I guess they just took this seriously. And also I wonder, why is there a watch at the bottom left of this whole edit? What is this Caliph watch? What is this? Is this a TikTok ad? And then I wonder, what are these schizophrenic graphs that just pop up randomly for a split second? What does all this BS mean? And when I tell you, these comments are so cringe. Looks are everything. No, he's just unlikable. Bro, he was obviously joking, man. I'm so glad there's somebody who understands in the comment section. Here's another looksmaxing edit where I guess it's some sort of dating show and one guy gets swiped left on while the other guy gets swiped right on. And these looksmaxers decide to make this an edit, basically making fun of the guy and essentially just calling him ugly.
Yeah, nah. Oh my days, bro.
This is literal brain rot. Oh my god, this is brain rot. Obviously, she's gonna choose someone who she's attracted to. I want a nerdy guy. Do you think everyone is created equal? Really? And here's another edit where there's a guy, and I guess he's asking a girl to like prom or homecoming or something, and he has a sign and some roses, and it seems like the girl says no, hell no, you know, and she rejected the guy, unfortunately. And these looksmaxers decide to make an edit out of this as well.
Does your back hurt? Do you hate asking for directions?
Oh.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What he
Listen, let me just say, like I said, if your validation mostly comes from women, you're not going to be a happy person, And this is also me reminding myself too, bro, because sometimes I do, like, I'm human, bro. Like, sometimes I do find myself seeking female validation. But it's true. If most of your what's it called? Your internal happiness comes from female validation, bro, you're going to be so sad and so depressed. You're going to be so sad and so depressed. Cause everyone has their preferences, bro. I've had very, very beautiful women tell me that they thought that I was fine. Beautiful women. And I've had mid women tell me that they thought that I was ugly. They thought that I wasn't good looking. They thought that I was unattractive. Like, so it just can't. Your validation cannot come from women, bro. You can go to another country and you might be one of, like you might be him. You might be the one that all the women want. And you might be in your country right now and no woman wants you. Like, your validation cannot come from women.
rejected if he was true Tyrone. She wants Anthony Joshua, not him. Okay, shout out Anthony Joshua. I love me some boxing, huss. Might just get knocked out. But yeah, I don't think it's that she wants Anthony Joshua. I guess she just didn't want bro right there. Sub 5 rejecting sub 5. Okay, I'm pretty sure y'all get the gist, Pretty much, they just take a sad moment or maybe a skit or even something funny that's supposed to be comedic. They'll take it super seriously, make an edit out of it with a bunch of men that they find attractive, and basically just try to shit on other people. And I just find it so corny. Looksmaxing trend is so cringy. Me looking at them, brutally mocking them. Face reveal when? Exactly. It's not gonna happen. So while researching this video, I also found this, graph right here that tells you how your nose shape is rated within the Looksmaxing community. A Greek nose, 10 out of 10. Turnip nose, 9 out of 10. Snub nose, 7 out of 10. Flat nose,
What? We're rating noses now?
out of 10, Roman nose 2 out of 10, and then fleshy nose 0 out of 10. And I find it so sad that there's 3,000 people that legit save this. They're probably thinking every day like, man, I have a fleshy nose. I'm a 0 out of 10 to these random people online. Oh my gosh, and I just find it so dumb. But yeah, it's looking like I have the Roman nose maybe, or maybe even the fleshy nose. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comment section below. And if you thought that the Looksmaxing community couldn't get any more cringe, what if I told you that they have Looksmaxing apps that rate people on if they're attractive or not? Oh, you thought the Reddit groups were crazy and the Looksmaxing websites? Yeah, these Looksmaxing apps are even crazier. The video that you guys are seeing popped up on the screen right now is this app Umax, and this is, I guess, the app that Looksmaxers use to rate themselves. This just gets sadder and sadder. And the more I speak about these Looksmaxers, I just realize how far gone these people are. And the funniest thing is that these apps aren't free. Yes, they are free in the App Store, but to actually utilize them, you have to pay a weekly subscription in order to get that rating. And it's only like $4 or $5, but I still think that's a complete ripoff. If you need to spend $4 or $5 for an app to tell you if you're...
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It just feels like society has just found new ways to take your money. They've just found new ways to take your money. Because what do you mean, $4 or $5 to bro?
masculine, or if you have potential, or if you look good, then you have some serious thinking to do. Like, go into a room, sit down, and just think for a second. When I tell you, I will walk through the Sahara Desert dressed like an Eskimo before I have an app tell me if I'm attractive or not. I'm telling that AI, hey man, say man, if you're not rocking with Young Cam Slam Busticle, then get to stepping, little. You're an AI. You do not have a face. Get off my balls. Okay, that's kind of a diss. Hold on. I'm dissing AI right now. Terminator, do not come after me. But yeah, in conclusion, there's nothing wrong with trying to better yourself. I truly believe the whole idea of looksmaxing is a good idea, just trying to maximize your looks. As a human, you always want to strive for the best each and every day, and
Valid.
that makes complete sense, you know? But do not take this looksmaxing to these extremes. Don't become one of these people that hyperfixate on their looks 24/7, because you're more than your looks.
Like you just said, and I'm going to end the video there. You are more than your looks. You bring other things to the table. At the end of the day, looks are going to fade. Looks are not forever. You're only young once. So are you telling me that um looks are the most important thing? You don't really care about your personality, you don't really care about your income, your financial status. There's so much more to looking good. So you guys, if you're watching this video, please have some have some self-esteem, bro.